Why are you washing those shoes?
It's dirty, kada. Okay.
A lot of mud going to see your sister, huh? Hey folks, good morning. Good morning, good morning. How y'all doing out there? Hope you're doing well. Absolutely wonderful here. It's going to be a hot sunny day, partly cloudy. You know, this rain's been cooling stuff off, but we're having a side effect with this rain. It's like everywhere we go, there's flies now. During this dry spell, we didn't have an issue with flies, and now that there's rain, I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden the flies show up. Anyhow, old lady's out there scrubbing the shoes, as you saw, and the reason she's doing that, and this is a side effect or just an element of living in or around a village here in the Philippines, is when it rains, there's mud. Okay? You know, you got a dirt road in, it rains, there's mud. Walking around the village, ain't no concrete, ain't no rocks, ain't no gravel. Everything turns to mud. So yesterday, what they did, they went and visited Flo over in her little village over there. And to get there, you got to sort of walk through a cow pasture. And they only spent like an hour over there and came back, and they're all covered from the bottom of their shoes about up to, you know, around their knees. Not that they sank down in the mud or sunk in the mud, but they got mud everywhere, right? They've been traversing a muddy area. So this whole morning, she's been, all I hear is this, she's been scrubbing everybody's shoes, getting the mud off of them, getting them cleaned up, right? So I know a lot of y'all are like, you know, why don't you move to her village, build a house in her village? One of the big issues is the mud. When it's the rainy season, you spend so much time scraping mud off your shoes. I mean, it's a mess. Mix in the goat poop and the cow poop, it's even a bigger mess. Oh yeah, you could put some concrete sidewalks in, you could lay some gravel down. Yeah, I could do a lot of things, but it's not my prerogative, nor am I interested in solving everybody's problems when you could just move somewhere else and not have to deal with that stuff, right? Anyhow, moving right along. So she's out there scrubbing shoes. I figured I would sit here and tell a quick story. Story time. Now listen, y'all know me. I don't tell short stories. I don't know how to tell a short story. This is going to be a talking head story. The scenery is not going to change. How do you get rid of your brother-in-law? How do you get rid of any in-laws in any culture? Has nothing to do with the Philippines. Let me caveat that. Maybe I just titled this video, How to Get Rid of Your In-Laws the Legal Way. There you go. That's a great title. How do you get rid of your brother-in-law, your in-laws, your wife's cousin, your wife's sister, your wife's brother, your wife's uncle? How do you get rid of them if you don't want them coming around anymore? It's 100% guaranteed they will never come around your house, or if they find out you're a certain place, they're not coming there. How do you do it? Many of y'all know this, but maybe the younger generation don't know these old jokes and these old proverbs. How do you get rid of them the legal way? You loan them some money. You will never see them again. Guaranteed. Yes, ma'am.
Your coffee is in your office.
I'll bring it in here, baby, because I'm going to talk to this camera for a little bit. She's going to get pissed if she finds out I'm doing this video. But hey, it is what it is. If I don't paint you a true picture of real life, then you think things are, maybe she knows. I have to paint you a picture of real life, right? So you want to get rid of your wife's family in any culture, in any country. You just loan them money. There you go. You never see them again, right? And you can be strategic about it. You know, if you got a family member that keeps coming over, just annoying you, hanging out too much, whatever, you can be strategic. Loan them some money. Problem solved. It'll be the best money you've spent. So what happened? Her family knows I don't loan money. And I recommend that if you're dating, well, it's pretty much a blanket policy, but especially if you're dating a girl from a place like Southeast Asia, Central America, you know, you're from the West, we're all perceived to be absolutely just uber rich. Is that a word? Ultra rich. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. And what I learned years ago is that when I say they perceive us to be rich, they don't perceive us to be like, you know, living in the $500,000 house neighborhood and they're living in a $100,000 house neighborhood or in the projects or in a trailer park. No, they perceive us to be Bill Gates rich. That's what we don't understand. It took me a long time to understand. I'm like, how could they? Oh, okay. They don't think we're just swim tennis community rich. They think we're Bill Gates rich. And I get it. You know, if I was living in a $100,000 house and I'm hanging out with my buddy in the swim tennis community that goes to the country club, I probably would never ask him for money or ask him for a loan. But what happens if I'm hanging out with Bill Gates or Elon Musk? At some point it would probably come up, hey man, I got a great business idea. Can you float me 10 million? Because you know to them it's nothing. And if they refuse to do it, you'd be like, you cheap bastard. You know, you're the richest man in the world. You got 100 billion in that bank account alone. Why wouldn't you loan me 10 million to start up my dog sitting business or my chimney sweep business or whatever I want to do, right? So in my experience, that's how they look at us. We're Bill Gates, Elon Musk, what's the bald-headed dude tried to get to space, didn't make it, the Amazon guy. Anyhow, but I recommend from day one, from the first minute you start dating a Filipina or a Thai girl or a chick from Guatemala, you make it perfectly clear you don't loan money to anybody. To anybody. Because if you loan money to the mother, then here comes a cousin. Hey, you loan her money. Why can't you? Don't loan money to anybody. Because if you loan money to one person, it's going to create bad blood when you refuse the next person and the next person. And it's going to look like you're playing favorites. It just creates dissent among the family. So don't do it. So early on, well, you know, it was established real quick. I don't loan money. I'm not loaning money to you, anybody. Because they're never going to pay it back. Alright? They're never going to pay it back. The one person I loan money to all the time, not all the time, several times was my buddy Dennis. Because that dude would go, not on a drunken bender, but he would go partying with some bar girls or what have you, run out of money till payday. I would loan him some money. Why? Because I knew he got paid on the 1st of every month. Got a pension. Got all those checks coming in from the States. I would loan him money. Why? Because I knew he was going to pay me back. That's it. Ain't nobody else going to pay you back. They're broke. That's why they're borrowing money. Especially on such a low level. So with that said, there was a little bit of friction up front. I laid down the law, and finally, they all got it. No matter how many times you come to her, we're not loaning money. I'm not saying don't help your wife's family, but you pick and choose when you want to help, and you don't phrase it in the form of a loan unless you intentionally don't want that person in your life anymore. You see, you can use this to your advantage. Strategy. You know, if somebody crashes a motorbike, they're going to come to her and they're going to come to you because you can't get blood from a turnip. Ain't nobody in the family can pay that bill. Same way with her sister giving birth. They couldn't leave the hospital because they couldn't pay the bill. They lean on her. Why? Because she's married to the foreign guy. It's just the way the world turns, right? And it's no different I grew up poor on a dirt road. My family was poor, but you knew who had money, and you knew that if something broke down, you knew who you had to go to and ask for money. It's just the way it was. You know who you couldn't go to, and that was most of our family, right? Because we ain't got no money to loan. So again, some of y'all think I'm casting stones. Oh, you're just nothing but an imperialist and elitist. No, folks. My first 6 years of life, I was in a single wide trailer on a dirt road in the backwoods of Mississippi. Okay, I understand poverty. So anyhow, moving right along. A few months ago, one of her family members showed up over here with grandma, hat in hand, so to speak, very humble, and basically wanted to sell his or her cell phone. Well, okay, it was a dude, because this is part of the story. Wanted to sell his cell phone or pawn the cell phone for 2,000 pesos. Now, because they know I'm not loaning money, but they figured, hey, this is we're the only people with some money to loan. Let me show up, see if I can pawn my cell phone, sell the cell phone, because he was in dire straits. Here's why he was in dire straits. Okay? Gets into a LQ, lover's quarrel, domestic dispute, verbal only, with his old lady about something. Now, I didn't get the whole story. It's so, I don't know if you got caught running around. I don't really know. That may have nothing to do with it. They may have been arguing over the bills. Who the hell knows? Finances is the top reason people argue in the United States. Getting caught sleeping with your wife's sister, that's probably reason number 2. Well, I'm just making a joke. So, he gets into a dispute. Next day, wakes up. His wife, while he's been sleeping, takes all his damn money. Every peso that the dude has, works down in Cebu City, and won't give it back. Now, this is the logic in a pissed off woman, and they're no different here than they are in America, right? A pissed off woman doesn't follow or recognize logic anymore. It's sort of like the child support bullshit going on in America, right? Dude can't pay his child support, let's put him in jail until he pays. Oh, that's real fucking great logic right there. How's the dude gonna make a living while he's in jail? Makes absolutely no sense. So, she was so pissed off, she's making absolutely no sense. He's like, look, I gotta get back down so I can get to work, make some money. She won't give him the money, F you. And doesn't think far enough ahead, just like any pissed off woman, to say, hey, where's my next meal coming from? Where's the next paycheck coming from out of this guy? How are we going to pay the rent? They don't give a fuck. They're pissed off. They're taking all your money. They're not giving it back. You jack. We all been there, right? We've all been there. Read my book, The King's Chronicles. About getting Pearl Harbor. Pissed off woman don't give a shit. They just want to see you suffer. Delicious. They call it coffee here. Call it 3-in-1 coffee. It's not coffee. It's a big old thing of powder. It's like hot chocolate, but it tastes a little bit different. But here they call it coffee, 3-in-1. Very difficult to find brewed coffee in this country. You have to go to a restaurant run by a foreigner, or upper scale, like a 3-star hotel or up. Maybe a 4-star. You get brewed coffee at a 4-star and up. Here, sorry store, mix this stuff up like it's like a packet of hot chocolate, different flavor. I'm not saying it's bad, but it ain't coffee. Anyhow, back to my story. So she's pissed off, won't give the money back. Got no choice. Got to come over here, hat in hand. All he's got is a cell phone. Luckily, she didn't get that. I don't know. He must have had a stash somewhere. He wants to sell the cell phone. So Fatima comes into my little studio with the cell phone in hand and explains the story to me. Well, okay, I'm inclined to help the gentleman out. You know, it's a Android phone, what have you. Not that I gave a shit about what kind of phone it was or whatever, but Fatima was giddy over it. She's like, yeah, I want this. I said, does he want to sell it? He wants to pawn it? And I think she just said flat out he wants to sell it. But looking back, her motivation, because she's gangster, she wanted that cell phone. She wanted that cell phone. And so I caught on to that. I caught on the fact that she wanted the cell phone. But while I'm sitting there talking about it, and the cell phone was worth $2K, less than $40, right? The Zello group chat is going off. If you don't know what Zello is, you know, it basically sort of turns your phone into a radio. It's just got a big button. You push it. You know, it's like the old Nextel. And, you know, there's group chat in there. So it's like a radio. You know, it's like a radio dispatch, right? And a lot of people in a lot of professions, they use that Zello. And that's how they either get dispatched or notified what their other coworkers are doing in the place of, you know, radios, what have you. So this thing is going off and constantly chattering. And I know what the dude does for a living. I don't understand the chatter, but I know it's pertinent. He keeps that on because that's how he makes a living, right? He's got to be in the know. So finally I said, look, you know, she tells me the story. Dude's down on his luck, comes to me hat in hand. Okay. I said, but here's the deal. I told Fatima, I said, look, I'm going to loan the man the 2K. I'm going to loan it to him for 2 months, pay us back 2,200. I'm going to charge 100 pesos per month. So for 2 months, just give us the money back plus 200 pesos. And I said, to make sure that you keep visibility on it and that you're vested in this little transaction, you get the money. So I'm out of the deal. I'm giving up the 2K. If he pays her back, the money will go into her pocket, not mine. But I said, you got to give the phone back. That's how the man makes a living. He needs that phone as it's one of his tools as to how he makes a living. If you take the phone, okay, yeah, we have collateral, but now it's a hardship on him to make money. So there was that moral dilemma inside me that said, give the man his phone back, let him go out and continue to make a living, and we'll roll the dice that he pays us back. Because at least he has the means to pay us back. Fatima was less than optimistic and she's looking at me like, you know he ain't going to pay us back. She knew. She's like, no, you got to keep that phone. You got to keep that phone because he's not going to pay us back. You know Filipinos. Hey, it's my Filipino wife telling me this, right? And yes, and it's not just Filipinos. It's anybody that's poor. Whether you're in the trailer park, the projects, backwoods of Alabama, most people aren't going to pay you back. You know, it's just the way it is, right? But I've got this moral dilemma. If I take this man's phone, I'm good. I'm golden. I just bought a phone at, you know, at least half price. The wife is happy. I could have went on about my day. Been like, hey, just got a great deal on a cell phone. But my conscience and my morals wouldn't allow me to do that because that's not the way my grandfather taught me. And that's how I weigh a lot of my decisions. How would he feel? It's like, what would Jesus do? Well, if I had to stand in front of my grandfather or my grandmother and explain what I did, would they approve of that? So I'm like, nah, we're not keeping a man's phone. If you don't pay us back, he don't pay us back. But we're not going to put the undue hardship on him trying to make a living by seizing a key tool that he needs. So we weren't in agreement. If she wanted that phone, she knew he wasn't going to pay us back. I said, what would Jesus do? Give the man the phone back, give him the 2K, get his ass back to work, and maybe someday he pays us back. Maybe he pays us back and surprises the hell out of all of us. I think it was April 1st when the loan came due. I wrote it down anyhow. So, you know, he thanked us, went on his merry way for saving his ass. And that's the last time we saw that dog. That's the last time we seen him. Well, I take that back. We saw him in passing going down the road and waved to him, and that's it. And that was just a chance encounter, right? It was weird. Like, hey man, how you doing? Hey. He hasn't been to any family gatherings. He hasn't stopped by. It's like he's a ghost. Why? Because he didn't pay us back on April 1. Imagine that. Did not show up. Did not call. And I kept telling Fatima, I was putting the pressure on her because I like to keep that real heat on her, so to speak, where she knows, hey, we don't do this because it's giving money away. You're creating bad blood because now he knows that he owes us money. We know he owes us money. Everybody else knows he owes us money. And it just creates bad blood. So she started sending them messages and stuff like 2 weeks before, no reply. I don't know if they've blocked her. I have no idea. But no contact, right? Other than that chance encounter riding down the road. Just a quick wave. So that's where it stands. You know, old boy owes Fatima 2,200 pesos. Now, if you want to say for every month you can add on 100, might as well. Don't matter what you say. You can't get blood from a turnip. Look, some people in this country, I don't care what the minimum wage says, I'm not going to argue that, but I know personally a lot of these girls from the country, they go down to Cebu City and they'll work as a maid for 6,000 pesos a month. That's what they'll pay. A lot of them are working for like Chinese families or Korean families, and it's for some reason like 6K is all they want to pay them. It is what it is, folks. That's, if it was 50 to 1, that'd be 120 bucks. But the exchange rate, what was that, about $110 right off the top of my head? 110 bucks a month is what they make. Some people make 10K. Well, 2,000 is like 25% of somebody's monthly salary. It's difficult to pay that much money back. I get it. Absolutely, I get it. I put myself into their shoes. You know, it's no different than if you're making $2,000 a month take home and somebody loans you $400. How hard is it to pay that back? It's not easy, right? Before she just opened up the door, went back out. So that's where it stands. Why am I making this video? Well, number one, it's entertaining, and this is what I told her from the beginning. How am I going to get my money back? Honey, you want to come sit beside me? I'm doing this video on your family member that defaulted on his personal loan.
Look for it.
Okay, but here's the problem, honey. Of course, she's got these two maps, these big wall maps, right? And they're very, very destructive for my audio. That's why I put them back on top of the cabinet so I could talk to all our friends out there without the audio being destroyed. But if you'd like to sit in here and supervise his map reading activity, that would be wonderful, because you're so pretty to look at, especially in your white shorts, your booty hungry shorts. Anyhow, how am I going to get this money back? Okay, folks, I'm a dumb redneck, but I know how to play chess. I'm not great at the game. For example, I think Calamansi's beat me twice. I beat her once. She's actually pretty good, but I did beat her one time in chess. So what Fatima and everybody didn't realize is I'm going to make that money back. How am I going to make it back? How was I going to make it back if the dude didn't pay up? By talking to you, the viewer. By opening up this camera and telling a long story and entertaining you, the viewer, because I'm in the entertainment business. You see how that works? Sometimes you just got to play chess, not checkers. So anyhow, yeah, go ahead and clap. Y'all are destroying my audio. The maps are meant to be looked at on the wall, not jumped on.
Forrest, look.
You can't make this up, folks.
This is New Mexico.
Honey, can we postpone the map reading lesson until I finish the story about your family member
Let's go outside.
defaulting? That's a great idea. Take the maps right out here until I finish talking to the camera.
Let's go.
Folks, life is wonderful. Life is absolutely wonderful. If I were not sitting here talking to you, talking to a microphone and trying to get good audio, I don't care. He can stay in here and make all the noise he wants. But it is a challenge. It is a challenge filming around two small children, two noisy Filipinas, and when grandma was here, oh my gosh, it was just so noisy. It's a challenge. It's a challenge getting any type of video out because my audio is so often just destroyed. Anyhow, so back to the story. It's all good for me because I was playing chess. I knew the minute I gave him that money that I'd be making this video 2 months down the line. And I told her, I said, hey, you know, it is what it is. If you don't want to hear if you don't want the story told, then you should have paid up. But out of respect and to prevent any family drama, no need to name names or who the relative is. It doesn't matter. So that's where it stands. Maybe we'll see the cat at Christmas time. Maybe not. I mean, that's what do you do? Gonna show up at Christmas and get face to face, and you're looking at him, he's looking at you. It's just awkward. That's why you don't loan anybody money. Well, what if so-and-so gets, crashes the motorbike, or so-and-so, the motorbike, something breaks in the motorbike, and that's how they get to work. Figure out a way to structure it where it's not a loan. Either just give it to them, and say, hey, look, dude, I've been in that position before. Your tire blew out. Man, I've been there before. Hey, look, I'm gonna buy you a new tire. You don't got to pay me back, dude, because somebody helped me back when I was a young guy, and I'm just paying it forward. I'm helping you. That way there's no bad blood. All right? Somebody goes to the hospital, show up and chip in some money. Maybe don't pay it all if you can get away with doing that, right? Hey, you're just chipping in as the family. It's not a loan. Just various ways you can structure it. Because what happened to me when I was married to my Thai wife, and Dawn, if you're watching this, man, one of her family members was a good friend of mine. And anytime I had a problem, I could go to him. He spoke good English. I could confide in him as I'm learning to navigate the Thai culture. Because when I first moved to Thailand, what did I know about Thailand? I knew my 2-week millionaire trips, my 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'd lived there a couple months. I'm moving there. I'm married. I'm just basically into the culture in so many ways. So I'm learning stuff as I go on job training. So I had this one guy that I could confide in. He was a family member. He had married into the family. So there was that loyalty, but not that blood loyalty, right? Because he had a lot of the same issues, So with that said, for years, me and him were just friends. Never loaned him any money. He never asked me for any money. It's just my buddy. One day, he shows up and asks to borrow 5,000 baht. Now back then I had plenty of money in the bank. I'm like, hey dude, no problem, man. I said, you know what, dude, I'll just give you 10. Just give it back to me when you can. And the only reason I said that was just to keep things, because we're very good friends. So I gave a dude 10,000 baht. I never saw him again. And I was so pissed at myself for not somehow structuring it in another way or not doing it, because I lost a good friend over 10,000 baht. And if I could talk to that guy today, I'd be like, dude, man, I don't give a I had no care in the world about the money. I valued his friendship. I should have just, I don't remember exactly how we worded it, but the point is, he needed some money. He came to me. I gave him double what he asked for, and I never saw him again. And I regret that, because he was a good friend of mine. Helped me out in a lot of, a lot of situations where I needed local help. Man, yeah, I still think about that to this day. So, what's the moral of the story? Before I just start rambling off on a tangent. Number one, if a good local friend or a good trusted hand or somebody that you rely on or that you value their friendship in the local community comes to you and asks you for a loan, either A, don't do it, which could create some bad blood, but I think you would recover, or B, structure it as some type of gift. Justify it. Hey man, all I'm doing is paying it forward, bro. You ain't gotta pay me back, trust me. Or you lie. You say, hey dude, listen. Hey man, not for nothing, but I played the numbers in America. I played the lottery, and dude, I just won 30,000 pesos. So look, this is free money, dude. Here, I'm gonna give you half of it, dude. Because I gambled 100 pesos and I won 30,000, man. I'm gonna split it with you. This ain't no loan. This ain't no gift, bro. I hit the fucking lottery, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take you out to eat. We going to Sizzler, baby. Like that. Because a good friend in the local community is hard to come by. A good trusted friend in the local community that will tell you the ground truth. Not publicly. You're going to do it quietly. But tell you the ground truth, even though it goes against her family, right? Okay, honey, would you like to come comment?
No.
Or get your reaction? Okay, if it's a family member, you get the point, right? I think I made the point. If it's a family member you like, treat them like the friend. If it's somebody you don't like, just give them the money. You'll never see them again. Problem solved. Honey, let me just ask a question. Do you think that the family member we're talking about, do you think that they'll ever pay us back?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, let me ask this. If they have the money, do you think they'll pay us back? Because I guess that's the question. A, do they have the money and they just don't want to pay you back? Or B, they'll never have the money to pay back? That's the question. Things that make you go, Hey, let me get some type of comment. Come on, let me get some type of comment on this subject, baby.
Jaman! What?
Now, you know that if they pay you back, that's your money, right? I told you can keep that money. That's not mine. And for every month, you add 100 pesos. So now we're at what? 2,400 pesos, right? You maybe could put some calls in and try to see if they want to pay? Huh?
I already do that.
Did they block you? No, they didn't block you? But they just reported no money. Okay, so we are in contact with them. But did they call you?
Before.
Honey, our son looks like a hobo. I'm sure many of you who are married to Filipinos, you have a similar story. Don't want to get you in trouble with your lady, but if you got an interesting story, leave that down in the comments. I don't have all the answers, folks. All I hope to do is invoke thought, maybe help somebody out. But I think you learn a lot more in the comment section than you do from listening to me. A lot of times I just set the stage. This is just a, I just establish the forum, and you learn more down in the comments. Because trust me, if you're marrying a Filipina, this issue is going to come up. It's going to come up. And if she lives abroad, that's the other good point. If she lives in the West with you and comes back to the Philippines, folks, they're gonna come at her every different angle, people showing up trying to borrow money. That's just the way it is. And if she holds firm and doesn't loan them money, and then the chisme starts, oh, she's kuripot. She's cheap. Ain't that right, baby? It's an issue nobody wants to talk about. People all they want to say is foreigners shocked at Manila. This can't be the Philippines. Yeah, it's called real life. It's called real life. Insane street food. Oh, this is real life, alright? All I know is I got 50 bucks coming to me. They probably won't never come this way. You should have got that phone, right?
Yeah, I told you.
See?
You're not listening to me.
Maybe I didn't listen to you because the man needed the phone to make money. Okay?
Yeah.
My morals wouldn't allow me to take away.
That's what you get. You don't listen.
That's what you get for having morals. That's what you get for being raised by a good man, you know? Alright, I'm out of here.